All right, welcome to week 2 of my training plan. It's actually officially week 1 of my runner training plan. Last week was more just of me getting my feet wet, getting used to running again. And now this week we're introducing some speed sessions, we're introducing some easy runs, some long runs. So it should be a very packed week. Can't wait to go through with you guys. Also stick around because later in this video, I do want to go over some new updates to my diet and exercises for this training plan specifically. There's a few things I want to work out that I didn't do in my old training plan that I want to change this time around. So stay tuned for about middle of the video. I will go through all that as well. All right, week 1, workout 1. Today we have 800-meter repeats. It's half a mile at conversational, then walk, then another half a mile at 11 minutes per mile times 3, and then cool down. So pretty short run, should be a lot of fun, should be pretty easy because I'm used to these paces in my old training plan. But again, I know I have to start from 0 again because of how much of my cardio that I've lost. So this should be fun and it should be a quick workout. So let's get it done. All right, cool down done. Around 12:30 pace, not too bad. But it is gonna be hot today, so already feeling it. All right, that is a workout done. 38 minutes. Pretty much went about 15-20 seconds faster than my 800-meter pace. So I think it's like 11. I was like 11:45 or 10:45. To have a strength training session later today, so get ready for that. But good first workout. All right, this is week 2, day 2. Just got done with my easy run. There's a 2.75 mile and do about 3 1/4 just because it's the whole loop. Figured why not just run it. Try to keep it as easy as possible. I think average pace was like 12:45, so definitely faster than my zone 2 right now. And my heart rate did spike up, but I don't know, maybe because it's a little warm and I'm wearing a hoodie for some reason. But overall, good workout. It wasn't really that hard at all. I felt pretty good, felt pretty fresh, so I don't mind it. But on to the next one. All right, welcome to day 3 of week 2, tempo run day. Right, so what do we have on top today? We have 3/4 of a mile at conversational pace. Then we have, I think, half a mile at 11:30. Then followed by half a mile at 12:30. And then repeat that times 3 and cool down. So total 4.5 miles. Should be fun. One done. 11:20. That was my marathon pace. That seemed hella difficult. Alrighty, well, that was a tough workout. It's 4.5 miles. The first tempo where I was going 11:20, I was going a bit faster. I think I might have gone a little too fast because I was going at 11 pace. I should be going at 11:30. But nonetheless, got it done. The sun came up midway through and really made things difficult. But I actually like running along the riverbank. It's so much quieter and less people to go around versus the park that I run at. So I might just do some of that. I just kind of change it up. But good workout. Glad it's done. And on to the easy run tomorrow. Situated over here. So one of the things I didn't do in my training plan last time was my diet and strength training had really fallen off towards the end. I stopped working out as far as strength training. I used to work out 3 times a week and I started working out once a week. My diet towards the end especially was all over the mess. I think post my vacation in Paris, we just kind of just ate whatever, and I was still doing a lot of my training runs and I was using that as my excuse to eat a lot more. So I was doing longer runs, I was doing much harder runs, but then I was also not eating well and fueling properly. So that's what I want to change this time around, is getting back on a proper diet and getting back to strength training. So how do I address strength training? Strength training is just going to be pretty much going back to lifting 3 times a week. I need to make sure I am constantly being proactive about my strength training. I actually do love it a lot. As much as I like running, I also do like challenging my strength. And this time around, what I did a lot when my first training block was I just kind of did a lot of strength training to kind of maintain, but this time I actually want to get stronger. So I'm going to really be pushing myself a lot more, and of course staying consistent to 3 times a week at minimum for strength training. So kind of just getting back on track with it. Before we get into dieting, I do want to give some trigger warning here. I will be talking about weight, specifically my own, but I know weight is a sensitive subject for a lot of people. So by all means, you can forward this section if you don't want to hear me talk about my weight, but I want to kind of talk about my diet and what I want to do with my weight. So just a fair warning here as well, okay? As far as dieting, this time around, I do want to focus on hopefully losing some weight. Currently, I'm at 240 pounds, actually 235 right now because I just checked and I was a little bit lower. When I started my training plan last year, when I had first began, I was 240 pounds, and then towards the end of my journey, I was at around 225. And then within a matter of a month that I took off after my marathon, I've gained 10 pounds. And that's because I have not been dieting, I haven't been watching my weight, and I was also not running. So that has worked against me. So I'm kind of back to square one in terms of my weight. And why do I want to lose weight? It's not to get faster at running. It's not necessarily all that kind of stuff. It's just to have a much more healthier body for my running plan, if that makes sense. So what I experienced towards the end of my running plan last year was I also got a lot more pain in my joints. I just felt like I was carrying a lot more weight around, and it was making my running a little bit tough, especially my recovery part. So what I want to do this time is really focus on trying to lose some weight and lose only about, I want to say 20 to 30 pounds, not that much. I know losing weight and running plan does not make sense because you are always constantly hungry. You're always constantly craving food because of the amount of effort we put into our runs, especially the long run days. That's when I'm the most hungry. I think for me, I just need to make sure I'm much more cautious about what I put into my body and being much more intentional about what I put in. So I can still probably keep the same amount of calories that I eat, but I need to be much more careful about what I'm eating, because before I would just fuel with some cookies and all that kind of stuff, but now it's going to be more around fruits and veggies and healthy stuff. So I'll still probably be eating just as much, but hopefully eating a lot more clean. All right, so let's get into how I will do this. You guys can see here, the ST stands for my strength training days, and in the orange are my running plan days. I have 2 speed sessions and a long run every single week, and those are the days where I actually need to do high carb the day before to fuel for those long runs. So I'll do a high carb meal the days before them, and then the days of, I'll do a low carb meal because I don't really need the fuel after the run. And so this is where I will end up with 3 high carb meals per week, 4 low carb meals per week. So that way I am properly fueled and ready to go, but also maintaining a calorie deficit. I know this may not make sense, and I am not advising anybody to try this out. This is just going to be my own experiment or more of my own trial for this kind of diet. I did consult with a nutritionist, and they did advise me on this, that this might be the best way for me to tackle both training and fueling for my running plan, and also helping lower my blood glucose on the days where I don't necessarily need that fuel. And so I would advise you guys, as always, please talk to your doctors, please talk to your nutritionists or somebody else that's much more professional at it for whatever condition you guys may be working through. Or if you want to just lose weight, that's also another option, but please consult with them. This is just going to be my own individual journey that I'm trying. Of course, I'll report in a month. If it's not working, I'll let you guys know. If it is working, I'll report back as well. But hopefully this time around, my dieting will be better because I'm going to be much more intentional about the food that I eat, training, and going along with this diet plan that I have set out. And of course, eating a lot more protein. That's going to be very, very important for me as well. So I'll report back in. But before you guys go, I do have a recipe I want to share with you guys, which I have become very fond of recently. This is a very high carb, kind of. Yeah, it's a high carb, high fiber, high protein, and it's also very, very easy to make. So let me show you guys that on this week's version of Tapas's Lazy Kitchen. All right, let's make the quinoa lentil white rice. You need 1 cup of white rice, half cup of lentils, half cup of quinoa. Now you're gonna give this a nice, good, thorough wash. Make sure you get rid of any kind of excess starch. And now we'll prepare for the final secret ingredient, and that is bone broth. I use beef broth, but you guys can use whatever you want. It is high sodium, so be careful. I added 3 cups of bone broth, but you can do half and half just to kind of lower the sodium if you want to. Next, you pretty much just throw it in the rice cooker and let it do its thing. Probably about 15-20 minutes. Steam comes out, smells good. High protein, high carb, but also high fiber. Super yummy and can be good with anything. Welcome to day 4, week 2. It's just gonna be a 3.75 miles of easy pace. So nothing crazy. Recovering. Let's get it. We're halfway through. We're around 13:10 pace. Heart rate has spiked up to 160, but it still feels comfortable, so I'll keep it here. But yeah, so far so good. Breeze is awesome. Beautiful breeze. All right, workout done. Our average pace was 13:16. Towards the end, slowed down because it's getting hot and weather cropped up, but so far so good. And now tomorrow is the long run, so debating if I should run outside or if I should run in the treadmill. I prefer running outside, so I might do that. Halfway there, so far so good. Trying to stay within the 15-minute range. Run a little faster because it is cooler, but